Are you ready to perform at your highest potential? Welcome to the Performance Matters podcast from GP Strategies, your talent transformation partner. In each episode, we'll interview industry experts and explore best practices and innovative insights to help your organization improve performance. In your experience with something that's quite frankly probably far more complex, as you're saying, like having an enterprise adopt SAP or something, what are some learning solutions or ideal bits of advice you have for someone like me?
Yeah, you want to simplify the solution as much as you can, and only focus on those learning objects, on those learning objectives that drive the critical outcomes for either individual performance or business performance. So how do we figure that out, right? What drives business? How does individual performance contribute to business performance? I've really become very interested in Kirkpatrick, and you may have heard of Kirkpatrick.
Sure.
Kirkpatrick, right? Levels 1 through 4.
Yes.
And Kirkpatrick has the new world way of developing a curriculum. And instead of starting with the users and what the end users need, your analysis starts instead of bottoms up, it's top down. So you want to start with business outcomes that you're trying to drive. What are the key productivity indicators for the organization or the divisions within the organization that you are trying to affect in a positive way? And then once you know those business outcomes, then what behavior in the employees drives those business outcomes? You know, a great example of this would be another big project that we're looking at is that the net promoter scores for this particular organization aren't very good. They don't provide good customer service. Okay, so we want to try to change those net promoter scores because those affect our financial numbers because people aren't coming back to us because they don't like us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when we looked at the organization, that was one of the key productivity indicators. All right, so if our net promoter score isn't very good, how do we drive that number? Well, through our customer service representatives. So what knowledge and skills do they need, right, to provide better customer service that will drive our net promoter scores? So just as an example, so you start with the business outcomes, you look at the behavior that drives those outcomes, and then you ask yourself, what knowledge and skills do those individuals need to exhibit those behaviors that drive the business performance outcomes? And then from there, how do they like the training? So you really start at Kirkpatrick level 4, the outcome,
right,
and you go down from there to the learning that drives those outcomes. So that allows you to streamline your learning on those things that are just critical for the business and are not just the nice to knows. So what are the need to knows?
Right. It sounds like what you're doing when you reverse that process and focus on the real world business outcome is you're separating the wheat from the chaff, right? You're saying, okay, let's get away from the nice to knows to this is what we need to know. And you can march forward and double down on your investment with confidence, right?
Yeah, kind of the classic example of this. And there's articles out there. I think one of the article is called "SAP Training Sucks," if I'm not mistaken. It is a case study.
Let me write that down. Okay.
Yeah, SAP Training Sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't come up with the title. I'm just repeating it. But it is a case story on the Hershey Company from back in the day when they did an SAP implementation. Their go live was around right before Halloween. And they discovered that after their go live, they could not ship anything. So was it a problem for them not to be able to ship during Halloween, do you think?
Yes. Yes.
Big time of year for them.
That's a business problem.
So they had a great training solution, but what they didn't look at is what business outcomes do we want? And let's create a learning solution around that. At the end of the day, after you have a huge digital transformation, the last thing you want is for your business to struggle to do their fundamental function. So start with that and work from there.
The Performance Matters podcast is brought to you by GP Strategies. Together, we can create a world where business excellence makes possibilities achievable. You can subscribe to the show anywhere you get podcasts or listen on our website at gpstrategies.com.